Hello, I'm Roberto, and we are learning Rust. Here with us, like always, Luciano, somewhere.
Hello, everyone.
Left, right. If you don't know this channel, in this channel we talk about Rust and technologies. You can find a recording of previous streams on YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, we stream every Monday, 6 p.m. Dublin time on Twitch. Today we're going to pick up from where we left last time in our chain of AWS Lambdas written in Rust that are calling each other. And we go on with the next one. That is the one that gets the link from the email and does something. So to recap what we are doing, we are replacing a tool that Luciano is using to send out free first chapters of his books in exchange of your email that will be used will be used for newsletters. So all of this subscription system basically starts with a form. The form send request in a Lambda. The Lambda prepare an email. In reality, the Lambda put stuff in a queue. From the queue, workers take out the job to do. They send you an email. In the email, there is a link to confirm. You click the link, and when you click the link, you are officially inside the DynamoDB table that contains all the subscriptions. We are almost there. We are at the last lambdas of this pool of lambdas. There are other lambdas that we still need to implement, and they are in a schema that Luciano is showing. And basically, we are there.
So this is the one that I think we'll need to implement today, but I'll do a demo in just a second. Meanwhile, I need to make sure that our chat highlight is configured correctly.
Yeah, the opened email Lambda, we skipped over that one because basically we also have to think of a way to understand if the customer if the subscriber opened the email. Normally this was done through pixel trackings, but nowadays I don't know if they still work. And then subscription Lambda is another Lambda that should be referenced in the footer of your newsletter that say, I don't want these anymore. And that Lambda is going to update the DynamoDB table, removing you from the DynamoDB table. But for now, we are implementing the API path. In this API path, we also, for now, avoided event bridge. So event bridge that could be useful that every Lambda send an event to event bridge to have a more event-driven architecture.
Yeah, and more of an extension path if you want to, I don't know. Every time somebody subscribes, maybe store it somewhere else as well. Maybe send it to another system, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have Salesforce, you keep track of, I don't know, you don't have Salesforce, but somebody can have it. So anyway, it's an integration point for other services that want to understand what is happening inside this service.
Okay, so let's do a super quick demo. So what we did last time was we created a form. Well, this has been a few streams. So all the different lambdas, they implement different steps. The first step is that we have created a campaign called test, and there is a URL with API gateway that allows us to access the subscription form for that campaign called test. It looks like this, very bare bone, not very fancy. But yeah, the idea is that here you can put your email and do submit. So of course you will probably embed this somewhere in another website and style it as you want. So we do submit, and is
the second Lambda is giving you this beautiful template message,
which we didn't even configure, but here ideally you will say something like, thank you for subscribing. You will receive an email to confirm your subscription, and then after that you download whatever file we are promising the user. But this should be customizable.
You should have an email somewhere now.
Now, if I switch, I'm using a temporary email. So if I switch here, this was my previous email when we were testing this deployment. There is a new one that just came in, and it's basically saying, click here, and here there is actually a link to confirm your subscription. So if we actually click this link, very, very small, this is the Lambda that we still need to implement. And this URL that I don't know how I can actually show you in a useful way.
Go to a code. Yeah.
If we do here, it's a very long URL because it contains a JWT token. And if we decode this token, we can see that it basically contains all the information that we need to use in the new Lambda we need to start working. So it's basically saying what is the campaign ID, what is the email that we need to verify, and what is the subscription ID for that particular flow.
So we can read from Dynamo the row referring to this JWT token because our DynamoDB table is by campaign and subscription ID, and we can do a read of that single line.
Exactly. Oh, we have Brooke Zerker in the chat. Hey, how are you? Good to see you here. Okay, so shall we write some code?
He raided the channel with 43 viewers. So we never had more viewers in the history of forever.
That's a new one. Thank you, Ox4MXA, for following. Yeah, we definitely are small streamers. Our average is like 5 to 10 people. So it's amazing to see so many people here. Hopefully, we are not going to bore you to death in like 3 seconds and you're going to run away. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can keep you entertained.
43 is 2 figures, so a lot for us.
All right, so let's write some Rust code. So if we go back to the editor, what we need to do is basically, this is the URL that we are going to be receiving in a new Lambda. There is a query string parameter called token. So the logic is we need to read this token, we need to decode it, verify that the signature matches what we expect. This is actually a very simple JWT that just uses a share secret. It doesn't use like a public private key pair. So should be relatively easy to verify and unpack using one of the Rust libraries. And then at that point, we should be able to do a few DynamoDB queries.
Yeah, we should use the same library that we used to create it, to verify it. So the path is confirm. The confirm path maps to the confirm subscription Lambda, I suppose, the first one.
Yes, which right now is going to be very, very dummy. It's literally a plain HTTP Lambda that you get when you use Cargo Lambda to bootstrap the Lambda code. So this is like a hello world type of Lambda right now. So we have OxH4MXA in the chat. Hello. We also have Tommaso. Hello. Glad to have you both here. Okay, so let's start by going in the send confirmation, I think it was. Oh no, send confirmation in the cargo
is the one that is using JSON web token, that one?
That one, yes. So we can copy this one here.
Okay, now we have to take the query parameter from the URL. Is that in the event that is passed to the
Okay, so here we have an example. So here is already reading the name, right? Because this default Lambda, you can just say hello world, or if you pass a query string parameter called name, you're just going to say hello, whatever name. So here what we can do is basically replace this with token and just say token. And then honestly, I would just say, actually, if the token is not there, we'll need to fail.
403, 404.
So what's the easiest way to do that? Is probably, we can probably do...
Unwrap with a question mark.
I wonder, can we convert this to a result? I always forget how to do that. I'm sure Tommaso is going to scream at me. But there is a way to convert an option to a result with a specific error type. Is it... Let's see. Let's see if we can figure it out. Mapor mean okay or. I think that's the one. And we want to say missing token.
Error.
Now, this is not necessarily, actually thinking twice about this, this is not necessarily a good approach because this is going to effectively consider the Lambda execution failed. What we want to do instead is create
and try it again. Okay, so like we have to give a 403 back or 404 and like consider the Lambda executed correctly.
So maybe the easiest thing that we can do is just store this for now. Yeah, we keep the option and we do a match and we say if we have a token, our business logic will be there. If none, what we need to return is something like that.
400 missing token. Map or error.
Is it a 400?
Well,
yeah, probably fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's not a 403 strictly speaking.
Okay, let me clean up all this.
Yeah, also probably you have to return that and not call it v, and also.
Yes, so here let's do.
We can return from this match directly.
Yeah, let's just call it token. I don't know at this point. Do we like this approach? Yeah, let's do it like this. I don't know if there is a.
Also, you can call it response, not token in line 9. Let response equal to.
In line 9, but this is just going to give us the token value.
Okay, you're not getting the response from there. So it's an early return, the one in line
exactly, 12. Yeah. This one will be an early return.
Okay, got it.
Now, the next step is we need to use the
library to
the code.
So I will start, I will stop you a moment here, and probably it's better that we put in all the scaffolding for Dynamo and so on, or you want to do that later?
Good question.
Pattern with the config and so on.
Let's decode the token first, and then we'll do all of that, because that allows us to do a quick test, I guess.
It is true. Just to see if the JWT token is correct or not.
We will need to share the secret, so we'll need to do a little bit of structure anyway.
Yeah, because the secret comes in the config.
So let's do all of that actually.
I made you change mine.
Yep, that was quick. So what will we
So,
need? We will
we
probably
don't
need
need
the
the SES
DynamoDB.
client. I don't think we need the SES client because this one is not sending emails. This is, we don't need a SES.
This one will send an email with
Gift.
mhm.
Okay, cool.
Unless we want to
True.
do that through the queue again, but then we'll need to do another Lambda.
Then we needed to do the gift Lambda. What are the this Lambda? How can this Lambda fail? This Lambda can fail if Dynamo fails, so very unlikely. Or if the email fails, and so you will not have a retry strategy for the gift. Instead, you have a retry strategy because the Lambda, if it fails, it will retry at least 3 times. So in theory, you already have a retry strategy there in case of error. I think it's safe to send email from here without adding another queue. I don't see a lot of other ways of failing. The failure rate of Dynamo is low.
It's a little bit simpler to do it this way.
Yeah.
But we can always refactor later.
Yeah. Campaign table, yes, because we need to know the gift, so we need the campaign table.
Subscription
table, we have to update it. The sender email again is needed because we have to send the email with the gift with this sender email. The token is needed, token secret to decode the JWT token. The confirmation endpoint is not needed because this Lambda is the last one in our
exactly path. Okay, so that also tells us that we need to install those two libraries. So again,
we take always from the other ones,
can
from
copy
the
from here. So we need these three because we also need the config. Okay. And then there is a little bit of boilerplate that we can copy from here, where we basically, if we go to the main, where we initialize everything based on environment variables, and then we call the function handler with the config. Hopefully all of this makes sense.
Change the signature of the handler too, or
here, yes, to get the config. Config. Is it this one? Yeah.
We should see if it's possible to generalize that. I know because they take different config. Every Lambda takes a different config.
I don't know, because there is a little bit of boilerplate with the environment variables. So maybe we can find a crate that allows us to do this with, like, I don't know, like a struct that you define once and will do all this fetching for you.
Yeah, but not all the lambdas needs the same environment variables. True is that passing more environment variables, who cares? I mean, it's not a huge problem if you pass more variables than needed. It's not even a problem if you pass more clients than needed, maybe. Don't know. I don't like to bloat.
We would initialize more clients, right? So there will be a bit of additional cold start for no reason.
Yeah, they don't like it. Let's go on with copy and paste the boilerplate.
Okay, so back here, what else do we need to do?
We need to decode to test the JWT token now, line 27. Somehow we have to use the library to validate the JWT token.
So here we were just...
somebody is suggesting something for that environment
variable. Just use clap instead of manually extract environment variables in that way. Actually, I never used clap as a library. I mean, I use it to build CLIs. Here we are building a Lambda. So do they offer some kind of utility that we can use in this context? If they do, that's a great idea.
You never use the clap, but if it's made for CLI, probably has the concept of environment that is overridden by parameters, defaults that are overridden by environment variables that are overridden by explicit parameters. So yeah.
So if you have any link, feel free to drop it in the chat. We'll add that to do and revisit this later. Well, we can add that to do anyway.
Yeah.
Review if there is a better way to do this.
Tommaso instead is suggesting env config.
Clap or env config.
Perfect. Cool. Now, how do we use that JSON JWT library to validate our token?
I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Hopefully it's still readable because otherwise it's too much for me. So if we go
you
back...
need a smaller monitor for the lives.
Exactly. If we go back here, what we were doing is... So here we are creating a token. And there is this function called encode. So I'm quite sure that there is an equivalent called decode.
That means what?
But for sure, we need to have an encoding key from secret anyway. So I'm going to copy this. And actually, this is another thing we could probably put in the config. Even in this one, we are recreating the encoding key all the time. like in a loop. So this is not ideal. Probably should be part of the config. We do it
Yeah,
once.
you can create that when you initialize the Lambda and pass that in the config itself.
So
But we do.
let's do a change here, at least in this new Lambda. Rather than doing the token secret, let's just call it encoding key. And whatever is the type, I think it's called encoding key.
Yeah. The library is that one.
Oh, actually, we can give it ownership, so it's fine. And now we can do this here. We can say encoding key equal. There you go. I think that's good enough.
You can change line 59. Cool.
Okay,
now
perfect.
The types are matching.
Now what we can do is let token decoded equal decode, and there should be a function there. So the token can be a string, so we can just pass our token. The key is a reference to a decoding token, so we can say config dot encoding key. Ooh,
No,
what did I do?
Didn't like it.
I pressed the wrong button. And validation. This is what I don't know. What is validation? Validation, let's see if there is an example. Probably is what do we want to validate, if we want to validate specific claims and so on, which is generally.
The algorithm for the validation. What we used to encode it. I don't remember.
I think HS256 is what we used.
Let's go in the other Lambda and take a look just to be
because
sure.
they use the same from secret. So let me copy this because it's probably good, then we'll double check. Now this can fail. Okay, let's go to the other Lambda. Oh, sorry, I'm checking the chat. There are more suggestions from Tommaso and Var. And then there is a link from Ilteod. Perfect, thank you. We'll definitely double check this one. Okay, so I forgot what we were trying to do.
Look, if you were using SHA, whatever, as the encoding algorithm.
Was it the default here?
I have no memory of this place.
Oh, header default. So whatever is the default here, let's see. What is the default algorithm? I suppose is the answer. Yeah, H256.
Okay, so we went with the default algorithm.
Okay, so let's see what is it complaining about here.
So mismatching type, the code.
Oh,
we need a decoding key, not an encoding key.
Okay, so fair enough.
Because if you do asymmetric, encoding, yes, you need the.
And I suspect
private to the code and public to encrypt, or you need the private to sign and the public to verify.
Doesn't like it? Expected encoding. Oh no, wait. Who told you that? Okay, now it likes it.
It was you all the time.
No, I think it auto-completed the type. I didn't want to explicitly specify the type.
Yeah, blame Copilot is the right.
And now here is a decoding key, and I think we can remove this guy, and hopefully now the first error is fixed. Okay, that's fixed. And now validation we never imported, and we never imported the algorithm as well. Now, what is this going to give us? A result with token data unknown. I think here there is a type that we can pass.
That depends on what we encoded in the other Lambda.
Yes, so the code we can specify, we will do something like this to say, I don't know, our claims.
Yeah, we created them in the shared library. If you
Exactly.
go to the Lambda.
So we can use that.
But we have to add it to cargo to use the shared.
Good point. So let's do that first. So
the first line 21.
And we copy that here. And
so now
then
we should have our shared.
Which, let's have a quick look.
Thomas is asking how much heavy is validation new. I don't know where we do it. But...
Oh yeah, so if we want to do it in the main.
But well, for now, let's do it there. We can probably optimize.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, what is our claim?
Subscribe event payload, subscribe confirmation token claims. There we go. That's what we want. So if we go back here, we go.
No, not here.
Sorry, wrong one.
Here.
We go back here. We can import. And now
we have our type that is a result token data of that type. Now, if we in that response that we create in line 38, can we encode our format of our object?
Good question.
So we take token decode that is a result.
What I was thinking is that
okay.
we could do a chain here. We could do and then and keep validating there. So we move all of this stuff basically in here.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is going to give us a result. So can we
Or an option.
change?
Why is it telling option exclamation?
I think it's still trying to figure it out. Yeah, can we? There is a way, I think, to chain.
And then it's giving back an option. This one is giving back a result, so they are not the same stuff.
Exactly, but there is a way to do that.
Result to option.
Because this one wants an option.
This one wants an option, but we're giving it a result.
Okay, or else, I think. So let's see if we try to do this instead. Is it happy?
Sorry, I don't follow you. So try to extract the token from the query string. If there is no token, we do something else. We should do the else. What's inside the okay or else is called only if it's not okay. But if it's not okay, we don't have the token. How can you decode the
exactly
token if you don't have the token?
So we need to say. I always get confused with this combinator, but there is a way. Is some end maybe?
Okay, and what is passing us? The token is
you know what we can do actually. If we keep and then this is actually relatively easy. Here we put the token.
Okay,
what
but we have a result instead of
is
an option.
wait.
You do a match.
We do let decoded equal that, and now we have a result. And what we do is a match.
Where are you?
I think I messed up the parentheses.
I think so, because I'm getting lost a lot.
Okay. Do I need an extra parenthesis there? I think
Semicolon.
So.
Okay.
Okay. Now what we do is we return some token data claims, or actually we can just return token data. Or none. And now here we messed up something and something there. Okay, so all of this should be valid with the difference that
Tommaso was saying is okay, but I lost context of when he said is okay. So let's go.
Now token is already token data, basically. Should we call it token data just for consistency?
Okay.
Okay, so at this point we have token data dot claims dot whatever.
And that is our object. So what can we do
Subscription
there?
ID.
Can we do a format of that object into a debug format? If we do a debug into a string and just return it to show that in the browser.
The other thing I was seeing is if we do token data, do we need to explicitly call this validate? No, that's just Copilot hallucinating. Yeah, I'm quite sure that it validates automatically when you do the.
Oh yeah, we try to mess up with the token in the query string when we have one, and we see what happens to the application. In theory, we should see a 400.
Okay, so the next thing we can do is, I like your suggestion, we can just respond with a JSON of this token data.
Yeah. What is it? Dot body.
So I think we can do application JSON, and then body can be, I think anything that is serializable. So what we can do is
token data serializable?
Should
is claim serializable. So token data.claim is serializable. Token data, token underline data, the variable.
Yes.
Token data, the variable.
It's our type. So
yeah. Derive debug. So we have to also derive. No, what is it?
Sorry, I'm going in the wrong one. Because this one is a wrapper claims is our own type.
In our one.
Why it doesn't understand it here?
Is in shard. Try to go in our library.
Okay, let me do one thing here. Body from body needs to be imported or not?
The trait is not satisfied.
Okay, we can manually serialize it. Set the JSON to string. That should work, but we need to install set the JSON manually because I don't think we have that.
No, but we have that for sure in the.
We have it in
somewhere
the
else.
other one, yeah. Okay, all of that is happy. Let's remove useless comments. Shall we try to do a deployment and test?
Yeah, let's do deployment. If it's
Of
not
course,
complaining.
all of this stuff is complained because we haven't used it,
Oh, well,
right? But for now,
work in
it's
progress.
fine.
Work in progress.
Okay, so
Back to the console.
deploy. So some validate and all this spiel. Now, time for jokes. Who has a good joke on the chat? Jokes about Rust, possibly.
To transform result in option, result.ok. We did with a match. Oops.
Good point.
We will improve.
I mean, while it's deploying, we can quickly check, can we?
If he's already compiled, yes.
So will be the code dot, okay. Is that it? Yeah, option T.
Yeah.
So if we do this dot okay and we do all of this.
And you remove the semicolon in 24, I also think.
We need to remove the semicolon. Okay, that should be the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Tommaso. That's a good suggestion. Now back to our deployment.
I have to write a post-it and put it here with the from result to option, from option to result.
Yeah, it's something that I think we have done often enough with all the advent of codes and all the other streams. But
you can't remember.
There are so many combinators between options and results that, yeah.
So it's doing something.
It's doing something. Yes, it's compiled.
Well, we added a bunch of libraries to the new Lambda.
Yeah, so it's going to take a little bit to compile. I think somebody told me that there is a trick to have a shared cache between projects.
Between the Lambdas, because they are different. They are different binaries, but they have a lot of dependencies in common.
Exactly.
So each one is making a different copy. So I don't know how big is your folder at the moment, but yeah, the problem is not the folder. The problem is now that it's compiling. Okay.
We also use workspaces, so I also don't know if workspaces are giving us any caching capability. Oh, there is an ice cream van.
Yeah, there's the ice cream van, but I'm not running after it. Sorry. I'm on a diet.
Okay, we're going to use this as our deployment music.
So we have to wait for the guy to pass by.
Yeah, in Sicily.
So now what he's doing is deploying a new Lambda. Done. Okay.
In Sicily, there is a guy that goes with a whistle, so it's much more noisy and annoying rather than having a nice music like that.
So instead of buying ice creams, you shot at him.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes you want the ice cream, so probably it would be nice.
Okay, so you have to feel the pain and go on.
Okay, so we'll go back here and do everything again. No, sorry, not here, but somewhere else.
To our form. Where is our form?
Where do we have that form? There. Sorry, I have too many windows. Okay, first email send. We are going to receive a confirmation email somewhere here. Let's see if that's true. There is a confirmation email. Click here. Internal server error. Beautiful. What did we do?
At this point, you go in the AWS console and you look, whoa, what the fuck is that?
Exactly. That's a good plan. So let's go to Lambda.
The link, try to change the GWT token and see what comes back.
Yes, let's do that in a second, but I want to see the logs first.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Email open, unsubscribe function, confirm subscription, send confirmation. I think it's confirm subscription, right?
Yeah, it's confirmed.
Then monitor, view logs. Okay, last deployment.
Panicked at
sender email not present. We forgot to wire an environment variable.
We forgot to change the template. Okay, let's go to the YAML template and add the environment variables. Oh,
okay. Yeah, Tommaso also is giving us a good suggestion in the chat. He's saying probably for debug purposes, instead of having an option, it's better to have a result. And if I understand the suggestion correctly, the reason is that here we are effectively combining together two possible error cases, whether the user didn't send the token or whether the token is not valid. So yeah, either we put here some kind of logging, at least we still return to the user, sorry, your request was not valid. I think that's acceptable. Well, we probably want to, at least in this case, know that there was a token that wasn't.
Yeah, but also the message on line 33 at this point is not valid anymore because it's a missing token.
Yeah, that should be missing or invalid token.
Yeah. That.
Or you could just say invalid token, considering a missing token.
Yeah, missing is invalid if you think about it, but yeah, cool.
Okay, so what did we say? We forgot here in the template.
And copy and paste the environment variable from the send subscription, the send confirmation.
Which
in the send confirmation, you can take those variables and copy and paste
them into. There we go.
Oh, but we need also campaign table. We need a bunch of them. It's not sender email.
We do have a few campaign table, subscription table, resources bucket. We haven't used it yet, but we will need it, I think.
Oh yeah, to send a gift, we need the bucket. It's true because the gift is in the bucket.
Sender email. What else do we need?
Let's go and check before.
We need the token secret, right? We definitely need the token secret.
Let's check in the main. What are the environment variables that we read?
Let's check in the main, not this file, this file. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So campaigns table, subscription table, sender email, token secret. Now I think we have all of them.
The bucket, we don't have the bucket.
We probably will need it.
Have the bucket to send the gift.
Should we do all of that now while we are at it?
It's not a lot of work to add an additional bucket.
So
you have to change the
bucket
config, but it's a small change in the config, no?
Yes. And it will be a string.
Yeah.
Thank you, Copilot. And for now, we are not going to use it, but we are ready to redeploy, right?
Yay. Sadly, these kind of stuff are hard to detect at compile time. I was thinking if there is any.
No, because yeah, if you run the local simulator,
you should have run that locally, but obviously it takes time, and we YOLO this in.
Yeah, we are YOLOing all the way through. But even if you run the local simulator, if I remember correctly, with some, you still need to specify what are your local environment variables, because probably they will be different from the ones you are deploying.
Yeah, but
therefore you might have a discrepancy where locally you pass the right environment variables and it works, and then you try to deploy.
And then, so to answer Tommaso, I don't think there is an automated way now to do that kind of test. That is sad because, yeah, it will happen continuously.
Yeah, generally more serious project, what I prefer to do is to do some kind of end-to-end test. So for important lambdas, you before deploying to production, you deploy to a staging environment, run some basic tests. If everything passes, then you can deploy to production.
Yeah, but even running integration test on your machine does not work because the test can have the environment variable, but then the deployment is missing it. So you should deploy somewhere for real. It is one of the problems.
Yeah, when it comes to integration test, it's always funny with Lambda or AWS in general, because you might choose to do like a local simulation of everything, maybe use Docker, local stack, local DynamoDB. I think you can get pretty far, but then it's not really AWS. And then other approaches are like hybrid, where you deploy some resources to AWS, but you run your Lambda locally, because probably the Lambda bots you are changing more frequently. But that also comes with more complexity, and I'm not sure whether I like one approach or the other. I think they both have problems, and none of them is perfect.
Tommaso is suggesting stuff in the chat, but let's try the Lambda, then we can take
I kind of like that idea. It may be a little bit advanced, but it's interesting, because in Rust you could create like your own macro that maybe reads that YAML and gives you a struct. It's maybe a bit too much, but I like it in certain ways.
God save the queen.
Okay, back to the stuff. So we need to go to the form.
Again.
We need to go to the
valid.
Oh yeah, you're right. So if we just
for 1 hour, I think,
refresh this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, now we're getting it. Okay, so our code was correct, just the template was messed up.
Yeah, if you change the one letter of the JWT and you open the network panel,
invalid token.
Okay. Well, it should be a 400. Cool.
Oh yeah,
so
let's look at that. If we do network, I'll need to
you
make
the
this
font smaller
much
because,
bigger. And I need to refresh, and it's a 400.
400, cool. Invalid token 400, so it's doing what we expected. There was just the problem with environment variables. Now, what should we do now that we know that the token is correct?
Okay, let's review here. We have a bunch of steps. So
validate subscription ID. First, validate token. Done. Validate subscription ID. And get
we
campaign
haven't done
ID,
that.
rewarders free key. If already sent, stop. Okay, we read from DynamoDB. In DynamoDB, there is a sent at. If we already sent the email, we don't send the email again.
Which, by the way, I don't think we have updated that. Did we?
Dynamo, we updated that in the last Lambda. No?
I don't remember, but maybe. We'll need to double check whether we updated that.
Yeah, but sent at is update now that we sent. No, that is the sent at of the email.
Well,
not
let's
of the
check
gift.
in Dynamo. We have Dynamo here. Let's check what we have.
That sent at is the sent at of the email with the link or the sent at of the gift?
Good question. I think the one with the gift, but we'll review that in a second.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
we have to
tables,
read the DynamoDB row for sure.
subscriptions, explore table items. Yeah, we haven't added any additional attribute.
We added nothing. Okay. Okay, cool. So we have at this point to read the row.
If we copy paste all of this and we use it as a to-do, then we can refine in our code. So okay, so validate subscription ID, we have to do that. Create present URL to get the reward file, we have to do that. And we also need to install the S3 client to do that. Update the subscription record to say that it was confirmed. Yes, the status of that subscription is confirmed after we send the gift.
But we were not planning of sending the gift through email. We were planning of
just doing a redirect. Yes.
Gift. So we don't need a SES client and we don't need to send an email. Respond with a redirect to the preassigned URL. So yeah. We are smart.
We were smarter a few months ago. I think we are getting dumber by the day. Okay. So that's fine. That removes the need for this SES client, but we'll need to replace that with an S3 client. So it's actually useful to have it there.
Small win. By 11, send an email. We don't need it anymore.
Send the email. Where is it?
Line 11.
Line 11. Oh yeah, we don't need that anymore. So let's clean up. Let's start to clean up. Here, this is going to be an S3 client.
No, Dynamo, we still need it. Dynamo, we still need it.
I did a mistake. Thank you. So this is going to be the one we don't need. S3.
S4.
It's a new version.
It's super S3.
And we'll need to install it. So this is going to complain. And then we need to remove here a few things. Sender email. We need to remove it from here. We need to remove it from the template.
Even if it's not making any problem having an extra.
No, but just for keeping it clean.
Yeah.
So let's install the S3 client. So we can probably replace this with just S3.
S3.
That should be enough. Now the next compilation time is going to be dreadful. Okay, now when cargo decides to index the word, this one should go away. But we will have another error down there because we are initializing an STS client, not an S3 one. So meanwhile, let's fix that. S3 client and
line 67.
Line 67, S3 client, S3 client. Is it happy? No, it's still thinking. It's still cargo clipping stuff.
Still compiling.
Yeah, better UI ever. Tommaso really likes our UI.
It's minimal. It's made to be integrated in
functional
website, so should be.
Okay, now everything is up. So let's start with DynamoDB.
Yeah, let's read from the subscription table to validate the subscription ID and also to check if it's sent or all the other information that we don't have them yet.
We didn't do that before, did we?
Reading. We are writing, but we are not reading, I think.
In the send confirmation, we didn't do the validation. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's still in our to-do list.
So no code we can copy, unfortunately.
No. We are just writing here, I think.
Yeah. So if we go to again to our DynamoDB here, what we need to read is the campaign, right? ID.
The campaign is needed to get the reward. That's the key. What do we have in the campaign table? Can you show it?
Yes, let's open it in another window. So we have the campaign table, exportable items, and there is test. This guy is empty, so we will need to update this one and upload a file to S3. And this one also the same. Actually, this one we skipped it entirely. This was the idea.
Yeah, we don't have templating in our event, but we should have something. But yeah, in the reward key, we should put something in the S3 bucket, put the key of that file in that field, and then assign a URL for it.
Okay, so let's start by reading the campaign. Should we do that?
Yes.
And this one has only one.
The campaign ID. That
only one field as a key. Yeah.
In the token, right?
It's in the token, yes. And I was thinking, yeah, this doesn't have a compound key. It's just like one key. So it should be easy with a get item to read this particular item. Okay, so back to VS Code. So we have a client. Let's start by doing, so the token, we want to validate all of the stuff anyway. Now let's do the get campaign details.
From DynamoDB.
Copilot, calm down. So
let campaign
get item
no,
result.
let campaign equal. No.
Yeah, get campaign, I guess. And what we want to do is
DynamoDB client, get item, table name, the key is not called ID, but okay, nice try.
It's close enough though from what we want, right?
Yeah, the only stuff is that the key is called the campaign ID in our table.
The ID is just called claims campaign ID.
No, the one in the double quotes on the left.
Oh, this one, key. Yes, that needs to be exactly campaign underscore ID.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it complaining there? Oh yeah, here it's beautiful stuff for DynamoDB.
Yeah, because you have to tell that it's a string.
And then I think that should work, but we need to import attribute value. Come on. No?
I mean, in Dynamo, they only have two types, strings and numbers, correct?
No, they do have a lot more.
Oh, they added?
There is even null, which is never used. There is... Actually, let's see. Attribute value. There you go. That's what you have. Boolean, BS, I don't remember what it is. List, hash map, number, null, string. Isme00, thank you for the follow. Okay, so
let's go back to our...
Why did I like that? No variant name as... Oh, because it's just S. I can never remember this syntax.
Okay, so now get campaign result. What is? It's a get item output.
Okay, which is a bit funny because now basically this is a generic thing that doesn't really have...
so the item can be found or not found. If it's not found, it means that is we have to give back a 404 campaign not found.
Yes, so the first thing is that it is an option. Yeah, so
we have to check if the campaign was found. There is an or error. No, well, we don't have to error because we don't have to retry. We have to return a 400, a 404 or something. So on top of that campaign result, we can do or...
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that if the campaign is not there, is, I guess, because we deleted it, right?
We sent out the email with the link. The link to last 24 hours. You delete the campaign and somebody clicks on the email that it got 5 hours ago. It can still land here. The JWT token is fine because it's fine, but the campaign was deleted.
Manually deleted by somebody. Okay, that's a valid use case.
And should not
so
work.
What we can do is this, if it's none.
Okay, we return 400 invalid campaign. Makes sense.
Something like that. We could even do a match and do the shadowing if we want, but whatever.
No, let's be more explicit. I mean,
at this point we can do an unwrap. shouldn't be a
Yeah,
big deal.
because at this point we are sure that the campaign exists. We have to do the same to get the subscription details now.
Now that's a bit of a pain because let's do this.
There's a compound
Let's just do
to
let
key.
campaign item equal all of that. Now the problem is that this is just an hash map. Look at this. And in this hash map, we need to do a shit ton of validation to extrapolate a value, because of course you have no guarantee that any attribute exists in an hash
Because
map.
we don't have a structure that is mapping what we put in Dynamo.
Exactly. And the additional
Would you-
complexity is that this is not just a map of string to string, but is a map of string to any attribute value. So you also need to make sure that the attribute you're trying to read exists for once, but also that it's the correct type.
Okay, stupid question. Is there a way to create a structure that represents our line into Dynamo and transparently serialize it, or no
So
fucking way?
we can try an experiment. I saw some time ago that there is this library called Dynamo, I think.
Oh, so it was not the first one to think about it.
So we can try to use this one, but I never tried before. So
No, but then we also have to do some changes in the code that writes that. So probably is worth for another stream, not for this one.
yeah, so here we can just try to read one value and unwrap like crazy, because we are going to assume we didn't mess up the database.
Yeah, but this
But
is
we'll put a
more
to-do
robust approach.
for using this one.
True that if you do this approach and you change the scheme of the DynamoDB table, is a mess. Instead, if you handle the single value manually, you can branch in ifs that support old schema, new schema, and any kind of schema variation.
Mm-hmm.
Or can you provide multiple struct and say, try to decode with this struct? If this struct doesn't work, try to decode with this other struct.
Oh yeah, that's something you can do with Cert anyway. I think this one uses Cert behind the scenes to try to map that hash map we get from the Dynamo client to a struct. And with Cert you can have, what do they call them? Like discrete union or something like that, where basically it's going to try to map it to one type if it fails to the other one, and so on.
Exactly. So you can handle schema migrations that way quite nicely.
Yeah, you could even have a version field as a discriminator if you really wanted to.
Yes, if you are thinking ahead, yes. So share the Dynamo not for today, but maybe what to do for next time to take a look at it would be nice.
Okay, we have another interesting comment. Should you leverage on configuration to know the hash map key? I mean, the table is built from the template, so the right name is there. Okay, that's another suggestion in the same line as before, where if we could parse the YAML somehow, that YAML would effectively contain all the information we need, and we could probably do a macro or something like that that builds the type. But for now, honestly, I don't mind copy pasting some values.
Okay, so let's decode manually, but remember that the Dynamo exists and that can be useful.
Yes, so let's put a comment there and let's say, oops, sorry, I've been using too many different keyboards lately. Use set the Dynamo to deserialize the item in a better, cooler way. Okay, so campaign item. So what we want to do is what did we want to get?
The free gift. I don't remember how we call it.
Tricky, let's call it. So what we want to do is campaign item. Actually, it's called a tricky. Are we sure? Reward
tricky.
So let's do that. Reward tricky. So campaign item. Then campaign item is the hash map. So we want to do a get of reward tricky, unwrap as a string, clone. Is this giving us a string? Yeah, I don't think that this S is the right syntax. It's as S, I believe. And then as S, you need to unwrap as well, because it might not be a string. And then you can clone. Okay, now we have
at that point you have a string. Okay.
Yeah, you can see that this is super ugly. To be fair, it makes you think really hard that you can have all these subtle issues, how to handle them, but it's not nice to see.
Okay, now with S3 client, can we presign this?
Do we want to put a file first in the bucket?
Okay, let's put a file.
Sounds reasonable, right? S3, yes. Let's go there. What's the name of the bucket? Which one is it? Tinykit rewards. Okay, what do we want to upload? Let me get some file that is not. Okay, I have an amazing file.
There's another your picture of last summer in that beach for nudist.
Exactly, that one. You'll see it if we do everything correctly. It's a screenshot, so.
So now we have to copy the key of that one and paste that in Dynamo.
Okay, Tomas is asking, is the clone required there? I don't know. We get a reference to a string, so probably not.
Probably is enough to sign.
Good point. Actually, can we do just as str then? Okay, so we get an str. Let's see, what do we need to do next? So we need to
Take the
do.
key from S3 of the file that you just uploaded
Oh yes, that's what we need
and
to
put
do.
that in Dynamo.
Can I rename it somehow?
Okay, you can click on it and I think it will open it. No?
No, then I'm gonna spoil the surprise.
Ah, got.
But if we go back, I think here I can rename it. Actions.
But the copy on
Rename.
the side of the name is not.
Let's just call it example png. Okay, so that's what we want to put in DynamoDB. Edit this guy. Example.
You want
PNG.
to give the full, you put just the path from the bucket, or you want to put also
Because the
bucket?
bucket is hard coded in our template.
Okay.
So I think the key is better in that sense. Less
Okay.
variability. Okay, so pre-signed response.
You can
Equal.
copy the comment that say to generate the pre-signed URL before this comment. So I think you have the comment above.
So Copilot is going to do it for us, right?
But well, it was not my idea, but just because we have that.
Because we are lazy. Okay, so Copilot, do your magic. Come on. Come on, don't be lazy.
Copilot, show me something. Do a flip.
Okay, no, it's being lazy. Config.sp client dot pre-signed. What is it called?
Get,
create bucket, create session. It's probably create pre-signed. No, multi-part upload, create session. Don't tell me that we cannot do pre-signed URLs with this client.
With Moto you can, so I was expecting.
You can with any client that I know. Get bucket, get. Come on, list.
Generate.
Put. Oh, maybe there is a dedicated sub-client for pre-signed URLs.
A feature, you mean?
Either is a feature or there is an extra client we need to install. Okay, so let's search online.
So this create documentation can have, does this create have documentation?
Generate pre-signed URL, this guy, let's see. Create a pre-signed URL. Let's see. Client, get object. Okay, so you need to get the object first, which is different from what I thought, but it's fine.
Because you do the get object, but you don't do the send, you do the pre-signed instead of the send. So pre-signed is replacing send.
Okay, so get object.
Okay, I know I was not expecting to be that convoluted,
but get object needs the bucket as well, right? Does it?
Yeah,
okay, you need to do .bucket.key. Let's copy all of this.
Yeah, but we have the bucket because we have the
and we also want the expires in. So I'm just gonna copy all of it and we'll replace. Okay, present request. In our case, this is config.client.
S3 client.
Now bucket is
S3 client, not just client.
Thank you. Bucket is config dot bucket resources bucket. We should have called it rewards bucket for consistency, but whatever.
Consistency, consistency is overrated.
Okay, so presigning config. Let's import. Expires in. What is this
duration?
expire?
We need to import also in line 79.
Yes, I think this is a standard thing. From how much do we want it to last?
24 hours.
But this one can last a shorter amount, right? Because you just clicked, it's going to open immediately.
Yes, it's doing a redirect, so you can even depends. It should last enough to click. Yeah, 5 seconds.
Even if we put 1 minute, right, it's still going to be reasonably. Yeah. So let's put 60 seconds. Actually, we can do from minutes. No. Seriously? Or minutes? No. Okay, 60 seconds. No fancy builder for us. Now, why doesn't like the bucket? Cannot move out because blah blah blah. So here we need a clone, unfortunately.
Why needs to get the ownership of the name of the bucket?
Or actually, we can just pass a reference, probably. Yeah, that's happy.
I mean, it makes no sense that it needs the ownership of the name of the bucket.
No, fair enough. I think we were giving it ownership, but for no reason.
So now this is a pre-signed request,
which might fail, and if it fails, we are going to fail everything. But this pre-signed request, what is going to give us? Let's see. pre-signed request dot. Is it just a string?
No, there was an into HTTP
URI.
O2X.
There you go. URI gives us an str.
Okay.
So let's just call it let redirect URI
URL
equal that. And now the last thing we want to do is
is a 302.
302 or 301.
I think 2 is temporary, 1 is permanent. This is a 2 because if you click again, it will create another link.
So 302. Okay.
I always use
I
temporary.
think we need to validate that assumption. Found. Okay. And 301 is moved permanently. Perfect. I agree with you.
I will not use permanent stuff. I will just go
I
with
agree with you
302.
that 302 is fine. And by the way, there is a library that allows you to do status code. And then you can do found, I think. Something like that. So we could use that.
Do we have that library or do we need to add it?
I think it's part of Lambda HTTP status code. Yeah, that's happy. And this should be 302. So
302, okay. So the header is not application.
The header is location. And the value is actually our redirects URI.
Yeah, but it's not a dot location instead of putting the stuff in the header manually.
Oh, good point. I don't know. Dot or dot redirect. Doesn't look like it.
Dot do it yourself. Perfect.
But I mean, it's just doing this header. That's it. And the body.
Yeah, but it was just body.
There is empty.
You are being redirected to.
There we go.
If you want to show a message, but empty is fine. Okay. Do you want to try?
No, we need one more thing. We didn't give this Lambda permission to create pre-signed URLs, right? So it will fail with permission.
We didn't in the template last time.
Let's check.
We have full control on S3.
Let's check. Read policy. We didn't give it write policy.
That is a read.
I don't know. Let's see what this guy is doing. So this one is beautiful, by the way. So AWS SAM, S3 read policy. What is it doing? Gives read-only permission to read objects in Amazon S3. Is there a full thingy? Get bucket. It doesn't have pre-signed. But that should be enough, I think.
Well, let's try.
I think pre-signed get object should be enough. Okay, let's try.
If it's not, the next deploy will be quite easy because it's not changing code. It's just changing policy. Even we have to do another deploy after this one.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the present URL, you basically are creating a URL that has the same permissions of the identity that you are using to generate the specific URL. So basically, in this case, what should happen is that the identity is the policy of the Lambda. So the role that the Lambda assumes with that policy that can read the file. So theoretically, it should be able to create a URL that allows to read that file.
So now it's installing what? The S3 client because we added it?
Yes. And
so it's compiling. It will take a while to compile because of that.
Yes, jokes time.
We really need to do an overlay when we wait for compilation. At least with your CPU that spikes and gets incredibly hot.
Yeah, it takes fire.
Yeah. I mean, there should be some OBS plugin to show your CPU temperatures and load. There is, for sure.
There is, for sure, yes. I'm not fancy enough to spend the time looking for it.
Homework for next time.
Okay, how is everybody doing in the chat? Was interesting so far. I think after this one, we're going to start to wrap it up.
Yeah, if it works for today, we are done. If it doesn't work, we try to change the policy, and then for today, we are done.
And the next deployment should be much faster because you shouldn't need to recompile.
But ideally, there should be no next deployment because
if we need to change the policy, I mean, yeah.
It should just work.
Okay, uploading. Come on. I'm just curious if you're going to like that picture I put there.
At this point, I'm curious.
I'm trying to build some suspense. You might be disappointed, but I'm going to pretend it's an amazing picture.
So a Lambda and is updating the getaway again because it needs to point to the new Lambda.
Exactly.
The old endpoint path.
Oh, now I'm curious if our previous URL is just going to work, right? the one we broke. So if we go back, that should still work. I think we are still within 1 hour. Okay, deployed. Let's see what's happening. If we refresh this,
Okay.
what's your confidence rate?
I'm confident.
Okay, 60%.
Yeah, 60, even more.
Cool. Yes, it's working.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's working. And you can see that it was confirmed at 302 down there in the network panel.
Yes, and we have a redirect with
The
a
link.
very big URL, which is, if I can show you,
Because the URL are huge, and they have
this is our request URL with our token. But if we
Okay,
look
where
at
is
the
it?
location, this is the actual pre-signed URL.
Okay,
So
that is quite long, yes. Too.
basically, what AWS is doing is creating a URL that encodes what you want to do. So you want to do a get object on a specific packet for a specific file, and then it's putting a bunch of arguments to sign that request with the credentials of the Lambda.
And with an expiry date.
And with an expiry. And by the way, fun fact, so the Lambda is not going to stay around forever. So probably not using it is going to be destroyed in, let's say, 5 minutes or a few minutes anyway. When that Lambda is destroyed, the role that was used is going to also be destroyed. So this link is going to be invalidated as well. So if we were giving this link 20 days, for example,
yeah,
it wouldn't last 20 days.
Anyway.
It would last like 5 minutes or something like that anyway.
Yeah, got it. So this is something to keep in mind, because if you want to create a pre-signed URL that lasts longer with the Lambda, you should find another way.
Yes, yeah. Or there are other ways. You could create another role that you assume, like you created as a persistent
Yeah,
role.
the Lambda is able to assume a role that is lasting forever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Role that then with that role is creating the pre-signed URL, but it's an extra jump that you have to do just because the lifetime of the Lambda. Okay, cool. So we close it up here for today.
Yes. By the way, nobody appreciated the beauty of this picture.
The beauty of the dinosaur with lemons.
Because it's dino sour.
Oh God.
Okay, now we can wrap it up.
Yeah, now we can go, everybody, and throw ourselves in the leafy. So let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. You can find the recording on YouTube. The link is on Twitch in the About section. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do live stream on Twitch every Monday at 6 p.m. Dublin time. Make sure to check the Twitch link in the YouTube description. Give us a follow so that you can be notified. Feel free to leave any comment and drop a pull request, which I know you have the GitHub link somewhere. Everything is well accepted. We're trying to learn Rust, so don't expect our solution to be the cleanest or more idiomatic ones. If you know better ways of doing stuff, please let us know. Thank you for all the people in the chat and all the people that after the raid are still here. We have 22 people looking at us. I think this is the biggest day ever in our history. Thank you for all the suggestion and the collaboration. And are we going to raid somebody too?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so thank you. Bye, and see you next time.
Have fun. Bye-bye.